I want to talk, as I usually do, about cholesterol. There is a natural product that sort of has what I call the ring of truth to it. It's called citronol, and I saw this ad, and it showed a graph that reveals that it lowers total cholesterol by 30% and triglycerides by 34%. And then I went on the web and looked it up. Here was the ad for it. It caught my attention, and after being in medicine for so many years, you begin to get a feel for the way things are presented, whether or not they're the real deal. I'm not saying this couldn't be a sham, but I'm saying I think that it is really probably of value. I went on the web and saw that it also comes with polycosanol, P-O-L-I-C-O-S-A-N-O-L. And citronol contains tangeritin and nobilitin in it, which are polyflavonoids or polyphenols or something, and those are known to have a beneficial effect on blood pressure, as does garlic, as does pycnogenol, but in higher doses. And I'm not really one for big doses of things and taking them every day. So even if you took this, I'd only want you to take it like 5 days a week, because I believe that the body adapts to anything that you take all of the time. So you're not supposed to have brown rice every day. You're supposed to have brown rice one day, millet another day, barley another day, quinoa another day, amaranth another day. And I'm sort of down on wheat, and I think you've heard me say that in the past. So this citronol, S-Y-T-R-I-N-O-L, with polycosanol, which is a grouping of sugar molecules together so that it's not digestible and it kind of grabs cholesterol and pulls it out, might be an interesting way for those who either cannot or will not take the statins, which I think are very, very helpful medications. I recently wrote a letter to a national authority, C. Richard Conte, out of Florida, and he wrote about how patients complain about the side effects, and he mentioned that you change the dose, you change the medicine type. The statin that has the least side effects apparently is Lescol, and when you combine it with Zetia or Zetia, Z-E-T-I-A, then that has a very nice cholesterol-lowering effect. But to be perfectly frank, it's not a great deal more than what is claimed here by the citronol with the polycosanol. So as a result, I would say that would I go with the natural over the prescription? All medicines are medicines, whether they're natural or not. And this one probably has, quote, fewer side effects, quote, but I'm not sure that anything is entirely benign. That brings me to this piece of paper, which I wanted to show you. And what I want to show you can see fine. See how long that bar is compared to everything else over here? This is the omega-3 fatty acid content of commonly consumed fish and shellfish, and it turned out, this is sort of false how it's presented. For instance, in 3 ounces of mackerel, 3.1 ounces, we'll call it 1,000. But in 6 ounces of farmed salmon has 4,500, I don't know, I guess that's milligrams, and wild salmon only has 1,774. Well, they sort of try to make it richer and more helpful in that fashion. The next thing was Atlantic herring, golden bass, and tilefish were next. Anchovy, which is usually very salty, Atlantic mackerel, halibut, albacore, tuna, mussels, mackerel, and then down at the bottom was lobster. Well, anyhow, the thing that I thought was interesting was that farmed salmon was so high in omega-3 fats compared to wild salmon. I would not have thought that, but the deal is they feed it, because it's in captivity, they feed it what will increase that content. I still don't like the idea of eating farmed fish because they're swimming around in their doo-doo, so to speak, and I think that that's just generally a bad idea. So I still recommend wild Atlantic salmon, the size of your palm. Let's do it this way. That length, that width, and that thickness. Not the whole hand, just the palm. Just the palm. And that's all the animal protein you need. If you're very athletic, you can eat that much 3 times a week. And if you're not if you don't do much exercise at all, once a week. And you might say, well, what am I supposed to do the other days? Well, not chicken and meat and cheese and eggs. You're supposed to be eating beans which have no cholesterol, no saturated fat, full of fiber, full of antioxidants, bean soups, 3-bean salads, Chinese stir fry with beans in it, minestrone soup with cannellini beans in it, lentil soup, lentil barley soups. And it isn't like you have to sit there and think you're eating beans. Think of it as a nice, thick vegetable stew and soup, which I have called many times on this show, meal in a bowl. We have to quit thinking of that piece of animal protein at the center of the plate that is helping to keep people so heavy. Now, I watched CPTV last night, instead of the Oscars in part, and there was this fellow on there by the name of Michael Roizen, MD. And I think he is an internist. I'm not sure if he's a cardiologist. He had a very nice way of presenting his information, but I did disagree with a lot of his information. But he did say things like I said. He talked about animal protein the size of a deck of cards. Well, that is essentially the size of your palm. If you're real big and muscular and do a great deal of physical exercise, your palm will be bigger, and I think you can handle more. There is no actual requirement for animal protein. You may say, well, it says so in the Bible, or it says so in my religion. I'm not arguing that point. I'm talking about it scientifically. Do what you want to do. I'm here to offer you information, not as a demand or a command, but as an invitation for your consideration. That is what this program is about, an invitation for you to consider the ideas that I put forth. And if you have questions, contact me at the office at 549-3444.